My name is Mahdi and I'm 37 years old. Why I have joined Sculp, hundreds hours of men's training. Just the question is the answer for me. I felt lack of discipline in some part of my life, which that 100 hours was a huge trigger for me. Am I able to consistently going through something which is going to be a real work, and plus calling a work as a men's work was something that I have been seeking to explore more, to become more of myself. And then when these two came together, that I'm gonna get to know something's really essential for my being as a man and how I know myself, and then how I can also through that build up a better relationship with discipline in my life. That's where these two merged together, that I would join the program. What is the most important part of Sculp training for me is the broadness of it, broadness of the topics that we are exposed to it. At the same time, the topics are so essential to work and they are hidden in the outside world. So I could just shortly clarify on that. When we are in some parts of Sculp training, we go through relationship, we go through financial aspects of our lives, we go through what is our purpose and mission in life. I've been heard about all of them all along my life in different contexts and containers, but I never felt that there is opportunity to work with that, as if you're born and then at some point you're supposed to know how to behave in a relationship with yourself, with your family, with your loved ones, with other people around. Like that is like supposed to know, but I don't know how and why in many of that. Very same things with financial aspect, that yeah, you are a man and you're supposed to have independence on that and build a life which you feel there is a flow in that department as well. But no one teach me that. No one said that the importance of it and how you can build a good relationship of that. So that is where I'm seeing a huge personal importance of what Sculp has been bringing for me, that variety of topics that I've been told to or talked to, but never been actually dive into, that what are they about in essence and how I can find myself in those topics, rather than there is a frame of everything and then you just supposed to know them. What surprised me the most in the Sculp training is the combination of going into depths of things, at the same time coming on the surface. So this dance between these two, that there is always a depth into every aspects of life, but then at the same time you need to come out of that depth and like having your heads around that where we are on the map. Like this is what we are mainly talking in the Sculp, that where is the map, look at your map, where you are at and where is your destination. So for me, when we are coming on the map, especially as a wilderness guide, it means we are coming on the surface. And then once we realize where we are on the surface, then we are able to dig deeper and then we dig deeper, and then we land, we contemplate, and then again we are coming again on the surface. So then both of them start to feel completing each other in a really rewarding way. So in that way, I could also make a specific example when it comes to physicality. That's where I was just amazed that I haven't been connected to my body from that aspect, which I don't need to suddenly build up muscles and become an athlete. Rather than I could understand how simply my body in one piece working together, and all I need to do as a big step is to appreciate and become more aware of it, of these different layers of how it works. And then once I know that, then I can just put small amount of work with the sense of feeling good. Meaning I do some things and I kind of get in touch with my body, and then I ask, is it feeling good for you today? Yeah, so let's do it a bit more. And then what if I do it in a different way? And that sort of understanding of simplicity, being on the kind of exploring, but then going on to the depths that, oh, you got that? There is next layer. You got that? There is next layer. So that's where that spark of magic in Sculp has been helped me to expand that in other areas of my life, even about the topics which we might have not even touched upon during our training. My experience of doing Sculp training virtually was so beneficial. First of all, because of my circumstances, that I didn't have the opportunity to do it in person. If it was supposed to be in person, I would perhaps have been not joining the container at this point. And that is something which, that's something for me to think of, that when I had a calling and something coming to my life, then I really want to miss that opportunity. So I'm really happy that it comes in a time in my life that I felt the calling, but in a context and in a container that I can also sustain in it. So that's one part of it, but also as a breath guide, holding spaces virtually, naming breath work for other human beings, and seeing that there's no barrier whatsoever when we call virtual spaces in comparison with actual physical spaces. I have already felt safe that it's me who define what is virtual, what is not. If I'm deciding I'm behind the camera and behind the monitor and behind the screen, but I'm there with all of myself, that's gonna happen, no question about it. And then if I'm in a physical space, but I'm not there, I'm not present there, or I'm not committed to be there, perhaps nothing gonna happen. So my whole experience at this point has been really rewarding to be able to do this virtually with all the other men in the container, but also having the more space for myself to be able to run my life as everyday life and not feeling constricted that, oh, I need to be in this specific place and time and location to be able to doing it. Sculp for me is looking into my life as it is, not more, not less. And my life, like anyone else's life, have different parts into it. But then how I'm able to balance these parts of my life together is one aspect, but also how I'm able to see them as it is in that given circumstances. That's another thing. So for me, Sculp is about stop looking to your life, where you are at, perhaps a sense of gratitude that there is a life that's actually happening to you and you are also part of that. And then after that starts to look what are the different components of your life. And then from there tackle the parts which makes you feel you in your best, but also tackle the part which been always there and you haven't dared to look for many reasons. So it's I would say that's, for me as a man, that's the art of life, of looking at that. I'm not believing in forcing anyone into anything. And forcing itself has also some power into it. Sometimes I force my loved ones to do something because I know this is the right thing. But when it comes to Sculp training, I would rather wait for a moment that either they had a calling or not. And if they have, then I would start to build on that. That if you have a calling, what else is kept you not doing it? And fair enough, I could put myself in their seat. That I could build up so many reasons, and in some ways none, without judging, some we could call it also excuses to not doing some sort of work. But when it comes to the fact that if I do have a friend which is dear to me and I want to invite them, I would actually introduce it as a gift. That this is a gift to yourself to see where you are in your life. So either you are in a space of receiving a gift, or perhaps you still want to contemplate for a while and see what's coming up. Within that understanding of my friends' ways of looking in the world and like stepping toward him, I realized that mostly people are start to also step toward you and at least saying that I'm gonna give it a try, if nothing else. And perhaps that's where Sculp is at its best, that when you start to give it a try, you understand that you are not doing it for that friend or for anyone else in that life rather than for yourself. And that's where proudly you become hooked. If there would be something else which I would want to bring out is when it comes to Sculp, and when I'm actually pronouncing Sculp, for me, I'm still not so much attached to a name or in a way that this is the only training gonna save me in my life, rather than I'm seeing it as a light, as another tool in my toolbox. And I have learned that during various experiences that when something is so sweet and rewarding, then you suddenly get to that bulb, and like you find yourself around very same-minded people, and then at some points everything out of that is not your thing, and that's where for me when I was there I stopped growing. So I have learned that no matter how much something feels so juicy, but still being able to coming out of that and seeing that, oh, there might be more juices in the corner. It's just a matter of me giving it the time and space. So with that, when it comes to Sculp, the other part which is still, I actually not urge to bring anything more out, rather than just feeling of gratitude, of receiving humanity as its best. When I'm seeing another human being is so willing to appreciate their life, and then that's inspired big out of me. So I'm now fulfilled with feel of gratitude, be surrendered with all these beings which are in one or other way have understood that there is no further moment before we stop and understand that this is the moment.